Wait.
Max, I'm not shitting you. 3 nights ago, I was outside with a couple of my friends. They were doing some video content stuff, and we saw a UFO come out of the damn clouds, and then it like kind of stopped, and then it kind of hovered in, and we looked at each other, and I was like, "Oh my god, did y'all just see that damn UFO?" And they looked at me, and they were like, "Yes," and I was like, "That just happened." And then you saw the article that the Pentagon put out
Yes.
that they found what on was it
Materials not made from Earth.
materials not made from Earth.
Vehicles, right? Crafts not made from Earth.
The fact that they said that and there's no picture with it, it's like, man, what kind of teaser is that? Like, we're just gonna tell you that we have vehicles that are not made of Earth material, but you're not gonna see them? Like, what? You can't say that. We need some good news. It's 2020. Like, if you're gonna tease us, I need to see the evidence.
They show them it's just a Tesla car. They're like, we found these. Elon's like, no. They can't let it out because he'd be ratted out. Oh, I have a family experience with this UFO thing. I didn't see it, but a family member of mine, we were on a vacation in Hawaii, and we were overlooking, I remember very, very vividly, because we got screwed. We went to this nice resort, but they stuck us on like the one building that was facing like not the nice beach, but like this very like kind of like Bodunky beach. But the water was
Oh, guys, sorry that Max had to face the Bodunky Beach in Hawaii. Everyone give him a little boo-hoo cry.
Well, let me explain this. As a kid, you're very excited to go to a beach that you can go into the water on. This like area that we were out, it was covered by it was like a lagoon. There's two massive rocks in the water, and 4 steps got to 20 feet. You couldn't go in it. So I was like, what's the point? It's like dangerous. That sets the stage, right? So, my family member. Okay, we're overlooking this thing, and it's nighttime. I'm to bed because I go to bed on time, and my family's up, and all of a sudden I hear a holler, just a shriek, kind of thing, like scared, and as you're kind of like, what the hell was that? I'm trying to do the math. I'm on vacation, like. We had one time someone broke in our room in vacation. So I was like, maybe that's happening again, but like, I don't know. I doubt it. That's kind of bad luck if it happened, twice in a short span because it just had happened the previous vacation. But I was like, no, like they wouldn't come in when we're here, but I'll get out of bed and come out. So I kind of wandered out of bed, and my said family member was crying in tears, and my mom was there too. And they're like, we just saw a UFO. And his reaction was I remember so vividly. Now their stories are different than mine. I never saw it. My mom now claims that she saw more of it, which at the time I don't recall there being that much seen. But what they saw was in the water, because we looked over this, and they saw a light come up, and my family member thought it was a submarine because we were by a military base, and like, oh wow, a submarine, and all of a sudden it starts zipping like back and forth under the water, and it takes off and it's gone, and just hollered, like screamed, because there was so much to see. And I've always stuck with me because that's a very, a visceral reaction to something that you wouldn't expect. So I'm curious, what was your reaction when you saw this thing?
So when I saw that UFO, it was kind of like a shock. But since we're gonna travel down this,
I'm ready to go down this path.
Okay. So, obviously, by the way, this is the Max and Vernon project. Blah blah blah.
You know what? As you listening to it.
So. No joke. I had like a weird encounter with a guy. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on one of the podcast episodes of this dude that I met at the airport.
Yes.
So I didn't bring it up then, but after I left him, so we were at the airport terminal, and right before we got off the plane, he said, "When's the last time you've been to the dentist, Vernon?" And I was like, actually, last week. And he said, "Oh yeah. That's how they put the sensors in you. That's how they put the tracking things in you, because then when you go through an X-ray machine, it just shows up as metal." And I just laughed it off. I was like, "Dude, you're crazy." And he was like, "No, Vernon." And he was like, "Be ready because you're going to have your encounter soon." And I was beyond freaked out at this point by what this dude was saying. The previous place I worked at, we had security cameras outside. I'll send it to you. I'm outside skateboarding with my friend's skateboard shameless plug, Tribe Skates. And the security cameras that never cut out for a minute. It was, or not a minute, it was like 40 something seconds, whatever it is. But I'm skateboarding down the road, and then next thing you know, the skateboard is like sliding off to the side, and I'm standing up slow, wobbling to my skateboard drunk. I don't remember any of it. All I remember is being on my skateboard and then getting up, and I walked inside, and I had the blackest bruise ever, like black, on the backside of my back, not in a place that you could fall. And I was like, what in the hell? And that was when I was encountered right then and there. I know it.
Video of it?
I have video.
Of you fall off the skateboard and being abducted?
Well, the video camera cuts out. Like, there's just a video of me skating, and then it's me standing up. And these cameras have never missed any second for years.
And now all you want to do is explore exercises, huh?
That's all we did on the planet I came from, apparently.
That makes sense. That is really wild. So here's something for you. I thought about lying in bed last night as UFOs are being just uncovered left and right in the public eye. And I've listened to this, and this is a thought I've never heard anyone talk about. What if, because we always assume if a UFO came down, it would know more about the meaning of life than we do. Right? It's often assumed like, oh, we can't bring up UFOs and the government can't expose it because it would shatter the foundations of religion. Right? That's part of the things. Like if a UFO came down, all of a sudden all religions fall through because the UFOs are going to do whatever, right? They're so far advanced and they know so much that they know the true origins of everything, and they'll tell us which one's right or wrong or something. Like they know the meaning of life somehow. Mm-hmm. What if the UFO has no understanding of the meaning of life itself? Like it itself is at a philosophical obstacle. It itself is like philosophically stuck. And I don't think we think about that. Like what happens? Because I've always wondered, like if a UFO landed, what do they believe in? Like forget they're going to blast us. Like what's their religion like if they have one? What did they think? And I think the thought is that they often are always like, oh, they know they made us or something. Like, but okay, cool. If they made us, let's just pretend they made us. Still, what do you guys think's going on? Why am I here? Okay, I get it. You made me, but who made you? You know what I mean? Like, because dude, is there a point where like under this extreme circumstance, like, are they themselves conscious about thought, and are they like, oh man, we went to Egypt way back in the day because we didn't really understand the meaning of us.
We're here on this planet because of Vernon. I've heard you have this landmine thing that we're trying to explore more of.
According to the Wikipedia, the landmine is a very good defense tool, but how you use it's quite different.
Please articulate your information.
And so now we're really on a rabbit hole. I'll go one step further. Right? What happens if we ourselves are in a computer simulation, right?
My God.
And
are you a piece of cake?
No, but the aliens are ways that the external observers can interact with us. It's like if you were to go play Grand Theft Auto and you make your character, you can make your character move and perform however it wants, right? So it can zip around, it can fly, it can ignore the laws of physics, and it can interact with other people. And so maybe they need some sort of a medium through which they travel and go through. So just like it'd be a line of code, but the code manifests in this object, and this object that moves in ways that are so un-physics possible, right? They're not possibly moving in a way that we can move, that it's potential that maybe the laws of physics are only something imposed upon us if we are in a computer, just in the same way the laws of physics are only imposed upon those non-player characters and Grand Theft Auto, but you can have a car that flies around because the physics doesn't apply to it.
So the random dude that I talked all this to
wasn't me.
Dude, people are never going to believe that this shit isn't scripted. Like literally we're just talking, but the dude told me that that's how it works. That there are the high. I'm not shitting you. That the higher beings of whatever they are, like they live outside of our galaxy, but the aliens that we perceive as the extraterrestrials are their handlers to come take care of their pets. So when they send So when they send their aliens to us and we see their UFOs, that's pretty much them checking on us and making changes and pushing society and giving us tools and showing us fires. Like, oh, okay, it's almost like Hunger Games, and they're sending in like the little thing to come in and be like, oh, they don't understand how to survive. Give them matches. show, show them how to make fire. And then this thing comes in, it's like showing you how to make fire. And they're like, oh, now they're good. Now let's see what next step they can do.
Well, I went on a limb. I don't know if it was on this or somewhere else and said, like, with 2020 happening, like, do you think anyone would argue if aliens came down, gave us the cure to COVID and sports returned? Would it just be like old news in 2 weeks because sports back? Like, oh, yeah, dude, they're awesome aliens. They gave us like sport. Who cares, dude? I get to watch the NBA playoffs, fans in the crowd. Life's back to normal. Thanks, aliens. Fist pound. Peace. Like it wouldn't. I'd be willing to bet of all times that this would be the one time that aliens could land, fix something, and fly away, and we kind of be like, oh, that was pretty cool. Sports are back though, so who cares?
100%. We'd be more worried about is LeBron James's beard gray, or black.
I would.
But that is, it is funny I mean, how much do you trust the government, blah blah blah, whatever it is, but like this is literally front page news and no one is talking about it. Like, are you kidding me? Everything that we've joked about and made fun of all these crazy people that live in New Mexico that they've seen UFOs for all these decades, and this shit is happening right now, and we have proof of it, and no one is curious. Like, what are we doing here?
Let me go one step philosophically left. Okay.
Okay.
Now imagine. So our consciousness has been developed to pick up on things that it deems significant. So an event takes place, our conscious knows it takes place. It deems said event significant, which is why if you see the same thing or hear the same tune over and over again, you eventually don't hear the low hum anymore, right? You're in a noisy place. The place is no longer noisy. You desensitize to it unless something violently changes. Now, I went to go look at this comet the other day because some comet was in the stars. And I went out there to look at it with Kelsey and my fiance. And we went up there looking at it. I looked at the stars and was like, God, isn't it pretty crazy that there are all these stars up here? I don't even look at them. Like, I was sitting up there and I was looking, I'm like, my conscience has deemed these to be not important. Like, millions of stars exist. And I looked up, I saw this massive shooting star. It was so crazy. It was unbelievable. The shooting star shot across the sky and it looked like a marker was painted across the sky. It was probably the most amazing shooting star I've seen. But I only saw it because I actively look at it. My conscience doesn't deem that to be significant. Now, why is that? How can because I always look at the ground, right? We look at the ground because events and negatives happen from the ground. We can step on a hole, get bit by a snake, slip and fall. We never look up. And how much of the time do you even spend looking up in a day? I'd be curious the number of time that any given spot in the sky is actually being looked at. I bet you it's very low. I bet you there are times where the sky is like not even really being thoroughly observed at any point in time. And the reason why I bring this up is because you look up there, oh, don't mind that, comet that just flew by that could have smushed Earth. That's not important. Like, but like I looked up there and I sat there and I was like blown away by like, why have I consciously or subconsciously deemed this to be not important? Why has my brain deemed the stars no longer significant?
So I'm gonna run with that on a couple topics. So what I think is the best movie ever is Interstellar.
Independence Day, you mean?
Captain Stephen Heller saved us.
Welcome to Earth.
Russell K. Sir, I'm just here to let you know that I was abducted back in '99 and been dying to get back ever since.
Eagle 1, Fox 2, fire. Wah, 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 wah.
Oh my God! All right, you alien assholes.
I'm back. Oh, boys. Oh, great movie. By the way, before I go, I don't let you want to lose that underrated scene in that movie. Dr. Oaken has his neck strangled by the alien, and it was like, what do you want? And he's like, die. And then they ask, is this glass bulletproof, sir? No, it is not. Like, he would know, like, this lab is randomly not bulletproof, by the way, which they're housing an alien in, and they just blast that sucker. Great movie. Great flick. Probably actually happened. Government probably just covered it up. Fact. That's why it's not.
That's based on a true story. So
Interstellar. Go ahead.
There's that quote that in that movie that he says, "We used to be curious and we used to look up at the sky, and now we just look at the dirt and where we're at right now." So I just think that's funny you said that, because that was like one of the opening scenes in that, because we used to look up to explore, to pioneer, to be curious, and now we just look down at the ground to where we're currently at and what we've already done. But do you think that desensitization is because there is something and they're just trying to give us all these little like tastes of it, like, oh, this happened, oh, this happened, this happened, so that it just kind of gets swept underneath the rug, so then when it does come out and there is the Mach 17 coming in that shows that we're just kind of like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal anymore, when it is a huge freaking deal.
Put it this way. If you're an alien and you're communicating with the government and you want to expose yourself without shaking the ground, they probably would discuss what's the best way to get this in front of people. And it's like, okay, well, current culture, we can manipulate quite a bit through social media. So let's get like social media snippets. We'll leak it out. We know Joe Rogan will talk about it, spread to millions of people, become aware, and we'll slowly, almost like a contraction of pregnancy, like shorten the contraction time. So it's like we are slowly, because you notice there's like these big spaces in between, and now it's like shorter and more severe. Like the government's like, yeah, they exist. We first released some fighter pilot stuff. Then Joe Rogan has them on, and it kind of gets leaked out over time. And now it's becoming more aggressive. And pretty soon there's gonna be like a TikTok dance about aliens or a TikTok video about aliens. And then like there's gonna be some stuff that surfaces, then it'll go down. Then it'll surface again and go down. And eventually it will happen. And we're gonna be desensitized to a point. Of course, it will be big, but they're trying to reduce the magnitude of size. If you just plopped it right now, it would shake the ground to an nth degree. But if you kind of had them land and they're kind of not too far off from us, but you kind of teased it a little bit and they helped us, like, oh, they landed and they helped, you know, we happened to find a cure to COVID really quickly.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like from them. And also I'm like, yeah, they're totally cool, dude. And then imagine this. Now, a couple people come out. Like an owner of a sports team's like, yeah, by the way, I'm an alien. Like, oh, Elon Musk is like, I'm an alien. And we're like, no surprise. We knew that one, bud. Like, would people, like, if a couple people came out and were like, yeah, dude, we're aliens. We're totally normal. We pay taxes too. Would you be like, oh, well, whatever?
I mean, at this point, I would sign off on just about anything. And it's almost like all the movies that you see growing up or whatnot, they end up having somewhat truth in them. And you'd be like, wait a second. Didn't this happen on Men in Black? Didn't they say that this was a real thing? How have we not missed it? They've been giving us all these. They've been trying to desensitize us this whole damn time, and they accomplished their mission.
Yeah, what if like they come down and then like all of a sudden government documents are released? It's like Ben Franklin with some aliens, and like they've always been here. They're like, oh, they're like, see, clearly in this picture, like in the history book used to have, it's like clearly an alien in there, and you're like, oh, well, whatever. It is what it is. The Bob Lazar thing. He says that they were buried as in archaeological digs, right? And so, what better way to slowly showcase yourself than to not be fearful? Let the humans discover you versus you showcasing yourself to them, right? They come across it, they find an alien spaceship. Small group finds it. It's not a big, massive exposure. They know they exist, as opposed to immediately landing and being a threat. It's not like, you know, because if they had imagine they found a bunch of alien-like material in like Egypt or something, but the Egyptians never got wiped out by them. Then you know, like, oh, they weren't mean. Like they didn't come in eradicate the Egyptians through laser beams. They might have helped them.
This is totally happening right now, and none of us are aware of the seriousness of that's going on right now.
Well, imagine no better way, right? They release a U.S. or the Pentagon comes out with it. Now podcasts like ours to thousands and thousands of listeners talk about it, so people get desensitized to it. We're part of the machine, man.
This is the simulation. They sent us here to have this conversation right now.
Yes. They knew I've been planning. You were abducted to start the Max and Vernon, not podcast, project, where you would first desensitize people by exploring movements, and next exploring extraterrestrials. I bet we have an encounter here in the next 2 weeks. They come
Oh,
down and they go, "You should direct your podcast this way. People would actually listen."
it's one of those things where if you don't leave a 5-star review on today, you're going to get abducted.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Oh my gosh. I think it's a really interesting talk because it's something that's actually happening. It's not
Yes.
it's not like make believe, but it's interesting too because imagine if they've known this whole time. There's not like a serious alien movie. You know what I mean? Like it's not like and I mean by that it's not like, 50 Shades of Alien or something where it's like a love romance of an alien or something. I've never seen that movie, so maybe that's really off topic. Maybe like you know what I mean? It's not like
That
it's
movie
not like
exists somewhere.
50 it is 50 Shades of Greys. Aren't they called the Greys? The aliens? Oh my gosh, the UFO Pentagon just came out this week. Here we are talking about it on a podcast dedicated to science and exploration, health and wellness. And we know if we don't talk about aliens, it's not going to be good for your health.
It would be we would be amiss if we didn't talk about it. Like we said we were going to talk about current topics and things that are important in the science world. I mean, what is more prevalent right now than what's going on?
I want to read in something. This is Sparak 2's space station. If you're ever flying flying galaxy to galaxy, make sure you stop by Sparak 2's space station. We have the best food, everything from French fries to hamburgers. Those Earthlings are all welcome. Stop by and use MVP Podcast 10 to get 10% off any purchase at Sparak 2's space station. We hope you have an amazing day and peace on Earth. Oh, that was really specific. I wonder what Sparak 2 is. What a coincidental ad read.
Over under on the percentage of someone that started listening to this podcast and is still currently listening to it right now.
Very high. I would have engaged the whole time. Well, on the alien note, I do want to wrap this kind of up at some point. Yeah. I want to get your actual prediction on aliens possibly landing in this planet. When? What is the over-under time frame? And over-under if they've been here before. And communication. Not just been here, but like in discussion with someone.
I fully believe that it's already happened.
Okay.
And I think that just the way things are coming out, that it's going to happen this year of some sort of legit evidence. Like it's going to happen because, like you said, it's almost like they're teasing it to kind of dumb it down, or not dumb it down, but desensitize us so that when it does come out, it's not front page news. It's just another thing that just happened.
And in that, how will they release it? Do they release it in a very non-serious fashion? Like, seriously, an Instagram or TikTok video of an alien.
Yep. Okay. And they're doing like a dance or doing something, and now they're like, oh, they're friendly. This is fun. This is cool. They're doing the halftime show at the NBA Finals this year.
What if it comes out, they release a TikTok dance, and we don't think it's an alien until they come out and they're actually aliens? Like we're like thinking it's someone in costume or something, and everyone's like mimicking it.
Plot twist: the Jabberwockies are them. They're doing the halftime show at the finals. They take off the mask and they're actual aliens.
Star Wars was merely a documentary. It was not a movie.
Don't waste your time watching it.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you my opinion. I think I will predict by the end of this year, we will have it'll start on Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan will be the propagator of said information.
Yep.
And I think what will happen is that a video of sorts will be leaked to him while he's there with a professional level sort of skeptic, not skeptic, but sort of a believer of aliens, not a high level government official, but something that gets propagated in a way that's very visual, tangible evidence. But what happens is they're going to let it spike and go crazy. Then it'll calm down. And just like the current UFO situation, they'll come out and validate it. And this will happen in waves. So it'll be a wave of a spike and down. And what they're going to measure and why they're doing these small releases is to test the magnitude of the spike. How much can we get away with before we accidentally cause,
Yeah.
people going on the streets and then demanding the information? Like, they're trying to figure out the threshold. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to push that threshold, pull it back, push it, pull it back. And what better way to do it than social media? If you release it on social media, you have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the aggregation of data, you can immediately actually quantify the spike of engagement and the spike of retention. Because they have a spike and it comes back down, almost like a heart rate recovering. They know they can put another one out, but they can't couple it because you have two spikes together. It'll push a tidal wave on over. So I think we'll see a release. And now I don't know if it'll be this year or next, but I think right now with the turmoil and the presidency happening, the election happening in November, all this stuff taking place, I wouldn't be surprised if another big spike happens in the midst of that, because they'll kind of mask it amongst other things. Like, imagine they release it and then they have presidential debate the next day. So then it kind of gets lost in the news, right? So they release it and then something big happens. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of measure this response and go, okay, it wasn't big. It was big. Maybe we let some Netflix documentary come out. Maybe we let some people go on the Max and Vernon project and discuss it. Love to have you hop on. Maybe we send them some coffee in the mail. We just don't know. And so that's my take on it. Have they been here in the past? I say absolutely. I think there's too much consistency amongst similar, like, no one reports seeing like a nine-eyed monster, right? It's always the same entity repeated over and over again. And you know what? At this point, you have to. Someone said it's up to the scientists to disprove it now, because the evidence is so great that it can't be. It's not the argument of approval; it's an argument of disapproval.
Yeah. Instead of asking why, I mean, we just ask why not. Like, why can't there? Why can't that happen? Why can't that exist? You have to disprove that it will happen before you say that it won't.
And what better? What if they just came from the moon? Like, what if they were just on the other side of the moon?
Oh, we're having this talk again.
Not the moon's a spaceship, but like, it's on the other side of the moon. It's the sun portal. And you know what? I heard someone else mention the sun being a portal, and it has an entry point. I heard someone else say it. I was like, oh, what? No way.
I'm telling you, man, the dude showed me a picture of it. Like, I gotta find that guy somewhere. We have to get him on here.
He's gonna appear somehow on our Skype that only handles two people.
It's just gonna, like, the screen's gonna shake and get all the black and gray stuff, and then he's gonna appear. Oh man,
that's the way the government's they're gonna release it on ours because of our minimal reach. They're going to let it slowly trickle. They know if they release a UFO actual sighting on here, it might take 2 years for 20 people to hear.
Oh, my God.
Oh. Well, happy UFO day to you.
Yeah, definitely. That was unexpected, but I like where that went, if you know what I'm saying.
Unexpected, just like most UFOs. Oh. You can't expect the unexpected.
It was a very unidentified podcast that we just did.
Yes. Appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will make sure to label this one UFOs, nothing about strength conditioning. So people at home are more than welcome to, not listen if they don't want to. But it's news, guys. This is real news. This is no joke. We're not playing around here. This was released in the paper. This is fact.
At the end of the day, the Pentagon ain't releasing no research on strength cycles.
Nope. UFOs. I couldn't have said it better without myself.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Peace.